Kakadosh Bokero, we're just continuing with Halachot, the Siman Taf Mem Vav. Maran is going to speak about what happens if a person comes and he finds Hametz during PessaH. So Maran says in Sif Aleph, Hametz beveto, if a person comes and he finds Hametz in his house, he says if it's going to be Chol HaMoed, Yotzienu vivarenu miyad. Immediately what you do is you take it out of your house and you completely destroy it. V'imu Yom Tov yichpe alav keli ad halayla v'az yivarenu. But if it's going to be Yom Tov, you just put a utensil on top of it until the night time, and then afterwards, when it's going to be Motzei Yom Tov, you're going to come and you're going to destroy it. Here the Mishnah brings down the reason why is because if you find it in a Chol HaMoed, you want to get rid of it immediately in order not to make a mistake and start partaking from the Hametz. So immediately, if it's Chol HaMoed, you get rid of it, you burn it, you destroy it. However, though, if it's going to be in Yom Tov, then you're not allowed to do that. So therefore, obviously, right, he says that what you're going to do is you come and you smuk says, so that's asur b'achila na'a. So what you do is you put on a utensil, and then you're going to come and you're going to get rid of it. Now the question is, do you have to make a bracha now when you're destroying the chametz? So there's a Mishnah Brura in Siman Taf Lamed He at the end where he says like this. He says, what happens in a case where a person did the bidika and bitul chametz normally? Right? He did a proper bidikat chametz, he did a proper bitul chametz, and all of a sudden he finds chametz on PessaH. So yesh deot ben acharonim tzarich levarech. Some people say, okay, now do I have to make a bracha? Aval biur chametz, because now I'm destroying the chametz. So he says, but 1 second, but I already checked properly. I did the bidika, I did a regular biur, I did, and then I found something. So he comes and he says, it could be that the first bracha is going to be also on that which you find on PessaH, and therefore safek brachot lakel, which means you're not going to make a bracha when you're going to do the biur chametz later on. So that's exactly what happens. So therefore, it's also brought down in the Sfaradim and the Acharonim there. Also, so we're not going to come and we're not going to make a bracha on that. Now, to do with the concept of what's going to happen now, if he says on Yom Tov you're not allowed to do tiltul, and even to burn it, you're not allowed to burn it. So the Achronim come and they say that if you have a goy, right, he could take it, right, or he could take it to the toilet and he could flush it down, or he could take it out and then that's it, as if that the goy is going to get rid of it. Now he says the reason why is because titul alidei nuchri is going to be a shut ishvut and it's going to be mutar b'mkom mitzvah. So therefore still he says it's still better not to do it that way, that the goy is going to come and start taking it out. What you do is you just put the kli on top of it and motzei Yom Tov you're going to get rid of it. What about now that what we have Yom Tov Sheni? So Maran and Sif Bet says, Yesh mi shomer ti Yom Tov Sheni tinok kechol hamoed linyan zeh. For us, Yom Tov Sheni is like Chol HaMoed, which means that once it becomes Yom Tov Sheni, now we're allowed to come and we're allowed to destroy it. So we could actually burn it. Remember, you're allowed to make a fire on Yom Tov. You're right, from an existing fire, you're allowed to. And therefore what you do is you completely get rid of this chametz. This, since for what we're paskening to do with Yom Tov Sheni, it's like the Chol HaMoed. So therefore what we're allowed to do is we're allowed to get rid of this chametz in order to make sure that nobody will chas v'shalom come and partake from this chametz. So very, very important that if a person does find chametz on Chol HaMoed chas v'shalom, or if it's going to be during Yom Tov, he knows exactly what to do with this chametz, and a person should be careful, right? Many times I always say this, that when we're going to check, there's a minhag. The minhag is to put 10 little tiny pieces of bread, right, all over the house in order to do the checking. Remember that every single piece of bread should be on its own less than a kazait. Because if it's going to be more than a kazait, it's a problem. Because you don't know how many times all of a sudden they call you up, right, and they call me up and they say, Rabbi, I can't find the 10 pieces. The children, they didn't write it down and they hit it too well, right? It's either that they hit it too well or maybe the father didn't do the b'dikat chametz properly, either or, maybe both. So what happens is, all of a sudden now, what do? So now if it's going to be less than a kazait, you could be mvatel. But if it's going to be more than a kazait, it's a problem. So therefore a person should always be careful that it should be properly wrapped and properly placed in the different places, so that way when they're going to do the b'dikat chametz, there won't be a problem whatsoever, just in case if they can't find one of those pieces.